Good morning, afternoon, or evening to you, wherever you may be, and welcome to The Magic Show, which is 3 Bite Banana, where I talk to you about movies, TV shows, video games, and whatever else comes to mind. It's my abundant pleasure to kick this channel off with a quick-fire, amateur analysis of one of my favourite science fiction horror films of all time, John Carpenter's The Thing. There's something about the 1982 film The Thing which just sends chills down my spine. It's not about the masterful plot subtleties or the mise-en-scène of bleak, overwhelming hopelessness and uncertainty. It's not even about the gruesome deaths and horrendous creatures spawned from the mind of John Carpenter. No, what really gets my hackles raised and my arm hairs tingling is that no matter how many times I watch this movie, I still get excited every time I start watching the first sequence. As I watch The Thing again and again over the years, I'm reminded that it's verging on 40 years of age, even more of a testament to the timeless perfection John Carpenter managed to craft in this magnum opus of horror sci-fi. What's interesting about The Thing is that it didn't do well on release. It didn't bomb, but it didn't do well. Audiences of the time just weren't interested in a schlocky death fest packed to the brim with bizarre special effects and a completely new take on inter-character relations. Even Roger Ebert thought it was crap, and that guy made an illustrious career out of being right about stuff. The Thing was ahead of its time by decades. But times change. Once billed as an autopsy orgy starring one-dimensional, banal characters and a frustratingly indecisive conclusion, The Thing rose once more to prominence as the insightful, wondrously devious title that it truly was. It's an arduous journey to view this movie for the first time, what with its cunning twists and turns as your eyes dart from one character to the next, wondering with increasing anxiety who's really who. And I'm ashamed to say, I only got around to watching it about 5 years ago, but I was instantly hooked. The mystery, the tension, the gore, the lines, the build-up, the payoff, the insanity of it all is just so satisfying. When you take the context of The Thing into consideration, you can really start to see how revolutionary it was, and how it was never going to take off when it was released. American exceptionalism was in full effect. Star Wars, Alien, Apocalypse Now, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Rocky, just to name a few, had all been released just a few years prior. These were films that emphasized and idolized the plucky upstarts overcoming insurmountable odds, or the grizzled veterans overcoming insurmountable odds. Come to think of it, I'm starting to see a pattern here. Basically, The Thing was launching as a metaphorical David in a jungle of Goliaths. People probably thought that it would be similar to everything else being released at the time as well. If you were looking to watch a science fiction movie in 1982, you could bet your bottom dollar you'd end up witnessing some badass American civilian carved through truckloads of mindless alien goons to win the day. What they got with The Thing was something else entirely. A murky miasma of misinformation, malignant mutations and menacing murders. A perfectly disgusting cocktail of sci-fi shock and awe. Sure, it had Kurt Russell, your Joe Everyman American protagonist, and a mysterious alien menace which had to be fiercely battled in wave after wave of harrowing encounters. It also had Keith David. Damn, that dude has one hell of a screen presence. But it just didn't have that sweet taste of victory that audiences were so accustomed to. The Thing dragged its viewers through the mud and viscera of an opportunistic, survivalistic alien menace. It had all the suspense of Alien, without the inevitable humanity. Fuck yeah. Our heroes are whittled down one by one. The audience literally can't trust anyone. MacReady is painted as our knight in shining armor, doggedly hunting down the intruder wherever it may lie. But wait, didn't he get separated from the group for a while? Who knows what happened while he was out there in the cold by himself? His story doesn't seem too convincing either. And it seems like the characters who you least suspect inevitably burst into thousands of wriggling, slimy tentacles without a word of warning. It's these chilling nudges towards uncertainty which keep viewers guessing all the way to the end of the film. Oh, sorry, the guessing actually doesn't stop there. Even 37 years after the thing's release, we still don't know what really happened. More importantly, does it even matter? MacReady and Childs are either things or they aren't. Either way, their fates are sealed. Their whole world has been torn asunder. They failed. Put yourself in the position of either character. How could you ever trust anyone again, even if you did escape? What if even one molecule of the creature managed to survive? They already know it can survive in deep freeze, after having explored its coffin in the Norwegian base. All they can do is sit back and see what happens. Even if one of them is the thing, that moist little worm has failed too. It's stuck in Antarctica, at least until a rescue team comes. No, I'm not going to talk about the comic. The continuity of this story begins and ends with the movie as far as I'm concerned. I've read 1,001 fan theories about the ending of The Thing, and none of them come close to satisfying me. It's fun to imagine Childs being infected due to a lack of steam coming from his mouth, a theory which has been debunked time and again for what it's worth. It's also fun to entertain far-fetched ideas like MacReady giving Childs a bottle of gasoline instead of alcohol. The idea being that a thing wouldn't know the difference, hence MacReady's final laugh. Ultimately though, my personal headcanon is a little bit more bleak and follows either one of two paths. The first is that neither are infected and both are doomed to perish in the frozen wasteland of Antarctica. They die not trusting each other and having lost everything their lives had been working towards. Alternatively, and this one is a little more outlandish, MacReady was infected many hours before. We've seen the various incarnations of the thing act separately from one another. It's also capable of perfectly imitating anyone when given enough time. Who's to say it didn't assimilate MacReady during his time outside, and then use his existing expertise to place the blame at the feet of the others, thereby absolving himself of suspicion. It even answers the question of the blood test. The MacReady thing would know what was coming, and thus could prevent itself from reacting to the heat. It held all the cards at that point. It just had to make the others believe. It would be possible when writing about this movie to go on ad infinitum about fan theories and small hints in the cinematography, lighting, or angles. That's the pure, unadulterated beauty of The Thing. The more questions you ask, the more questions you have. In fact, it verges on the realm of mind-bogglism to consider just how little we can really say is true or not. I can say with certainty, however, that I won't be able to let a year go by without reviewing this titan of a science fiction tale. Did I miss something? Are you dying to tell me how much of a blundering fool I am? Leave a comment below, let me know. Bye.